Hello, my friends. Welcome back to American Lingo Academy. I'm Fiona, and today we're going to learn another 10 common idioms, phrases, and sentences that native English speakers use every single day. These expressions are super useful, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what they mean and how to use them naturally in your own conversations. Number 1, you killed it. This is an idiom, and don't worry, nobody actually died. When Americans say you killed it, we mean you did something extremely well. You performed amazingly, you succeeded beyond expectations. It's a very positive expression that we use to praise someone's great performance or achievement. For example, imagine your friend just finished giving a presentation at work, and everyone loved it. You would say, "Wow, Sarah, you totally killed it up there." The audience was hanging on every word you said. This shows that Sarah's presentation was outstanding and impressive. Here's another one. Let's say your teenager comes home after their first job interview and tells you how it went. They answered all the questions perfectly and felt really confident. You might say, "That's fantastic. It sounds like you really killed it in that interview. I bet they're going to call you back soon." This encourages them and acknowledges their excellent performance. Number 2, brain freeze. This is a phrase that has two different meanings. The first meaning is literally when you eat something very cold, like ice cream, and you get that sharp pain in your head. But the second meaning, which is more common in conversation, is when your mind goes blank and you can't think clearly. It's like your brain temporarily stops working, especially when you're nervous or under pressure. For example, you're taking a test and you know the answer to a question, but suddenly you can't remember it at all. Later, you tell your friend, "I had such a brain freeze during the math test. I knew how to solve that problem, but my mind just went completely blank." This explains that you temporarily couldn't think clearly even though you knew the information. Here's another one. You're at a party and someone introduces you to their friend, but you immediately forget their name even though they just said it. You might laugh and say, "Sorry, I'm having a total brain freeze right now. Could you tell me your name again? I promise I'll remember it this time." This is a polite way to admit that your mind went blank for a moment. Number 3, I didn't catch that. This is a polite phrase that means, "I didn't hear you clearly," or "I didn't understand what you said." It's a very common and respectful way to ask someone to repeat something without making them feel bad about speaking unclearly. Native speakers use this all the time when they miss part of what someone said. For example, you're on a phone call with your doctor's office, but the connection is bad and you can't hear the appointment time clearly. You would say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you please repeat what time my appointment is?" This is much more natural than saying "what?" or "huh." Here's another one. You're in a noisy restaurant with friends and someone tells a joke, but you couldn't hear the punchline because of all the background noise. You might lean in and say, "That sounded funny, but I didn't catch the end of it. What did you say?" This shows you're interested in hearing the complete joke without being rude. Number 4, you don't say. This is a sarcastic phrase that actually means the opposite of what it sounds like. When someone tells you something very obvious or something you already know, you can respond with "you don't say" to show that the information isn't surprising at all. It's a polite but slightly sarcastic way to point out that something is obvious. For example, it's raining heavily outside, and your coworker comes in completely soaked and says, "It's really wet out there." You might respond with a smile, "You don't say. I never would have guessed from looking at you." This gently teases them for stating something very obvious while keeping the mood light and friendly. Here's another one. Your friend calls to tell you that the traffic is terrible on the highway during rush hour, something that happens every single day. You might say, "Traffic is bad at 5 p.m. You don't say, "Next you're going to tell me that water is wet." This shows that the information isn't news to you because it's so predictable. Now, before we continue with the rest of our expressions, I want to ask you a quick favor. If you're enjoying this lesson and learning something new, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to American Lingo Academy. We post helpful English lessons like this one every single day, and your support really helps us create more content for English learners like you. Okay, let's keep going. Number 5, I'll be blunt. This is a direct phrase that means I'm going to be very honest and straightforward, even if it might sound harsh. When someone says, "I'll be blunt," they're warning you that they're about to tell you the truth without sugarcoating it or making it sound nicer. It's a way to prepare someone for direct feedback or honest opinion. For example, your best friend asks you what you think about their new haircut, and you really don't like it. You might say, "I'll be blunt with you because we're friends. I don't think that style suits your face shape. Maybe you could ask the stylist to adjust it a little." This shows you're being honest because you care about them. Here's another one. Your teenage son wants to quit his part-time job because it's too hard. But you know he needs to learn responsibility. You might sit him down and say, "I'll be blunt, son. Life is going to get much harder than this job, and you need to learn how to stick with things even when they're challenging." This prepares him for some tough love advice. Number 6, you can't make me. This is a defiant phrase that people use, especially children and teenagers when they refuse to do something. It means, "I won't do it, and you have no power to force me." While it sounds childish, adults sometimes use it playfully or when they're joking around with friends or family members. For example, your little sister is supposed to clean her room, but she's being stubborn about it. She might cross her arms and say, "I don't want to clean my room, and you can't make me." This shows she's refusing to cooperate and challenging your authority. Here's another one. Your friends are trying to convince you to go bungee jumping, but you're absolutely terrified of heights. You might laugh and say, "Nice try, guys, but you can't make me jump off that bridge. I'll watch you from down here on solid ground." This shows you're firmly refusing, but in a playful way with your friends. Number 7, what are the odds? This is a question that expresses surprise about an unlikely coincidence or an unexpected event. It's like saying, "What are the chances that this would happen?" People use this when something surprising occurs, especially when two unlikely things happen at the same time. For example, You run into your elementary school teacher at a coffee shop in a completely different city while you're both on vacation. You might exclaim, "Mrs. Johnson, I can't believe it's you. What are the odds that we'd bump into each other here, thousands of miles from home?" This shows your amazement at the unlikely coincidence. Here's another one. You and your coworker both call in sick on the same day. You both go to the same doctor, and you end up sitting next to each other in the waiting room. Later, you might tell your family, "You'll never believe what happened today. What are the odds that Jim and I would both get sick, go to the same doctor, and end up there at exactly the same time?" This emphasizes how unlikely the situation was. Number 8, catch you later. This is a casual phrase that means "I'll see you later" or "goodbye for now." It's a very relaxed and friendly way to say goodbye to someone, especially when you expect to see them again soon. Young people and friends use this expression a lot in informal situations. For example, you're leaving work for the day and your colleague is staying late to finish a project. As you pack up your things, you might wave and say, "I'm heading out now. Good luck with that report, and I'll catch you later." This is a friendly way to say goodbye while wishing them well. Here's another one. You're hanging out with friends at a park, but you need to go home for dinner with your family. You might stand up and say, "This was really fun, everyone, but I've got to run. Catch you later." Then everyone waves and says goodbye. This keeps the mood light and positive as you leave. Number 9, we got a lot of ground to cover. This is a metaphorical phrase that means we have a lot of work to do or we have many topics to discuss. The word ground here doesn't mean actual dirt or land. It means topics, tasks, or material that needs to be completed or discussed. People often use this in meetings, classes, or when planning projects. For example, it's the first day of a new semester and your professor is explaining the course syllabus. She might say, "Welcome to Advanced Biology, everyone. This is going to be an exciting but challenging class because we've got a lot of ground to cover this semester. We'll study everything from cellular biology to genetics." This tells students that there will be many topics and a lot of material to learn. Here's another one. You're planning your wedding with your partner, and you're feeling overwhelmed by all the decisions you need to make. You might sit down with your wedding planner and say, "Okay, we've got a lot of ground to cover today. We need to choose the flowers, finalize the menu, pick the music, and confirm the guest list." This shows that you have many important tasks to complete. Number 10, where's your head at? This is an informal question that asks about someone's mental state, focus, or priorities. It's like asking, "What are you thinking about?" or "What's going on in your mind right now?" People use this when someone seems distracted, unfocused, or when they want to understand someone's perspective or mindset. For example, your friend has been making unusual decisions lately, like quitting their stable job to become an artist. You might sit down with them and gently ask, "Hey, I'm just curious, where's your head at right now? You've been making some big changes, and I want to understand what you're thinking." This shows you care and want to understand their perspective. Here's another one. Your teenage daughter has been acting differently. staying in her room more and not talking much at family dinners. You might knock on her door and say, "Can we talk for a minute? I've noticed you seem quiet lately, and I'm wondering where your head's at. Is everything okay at school?" This opens up a conversation about what might be bothering her. And that's all 10 expressions for today. I hope you found these useful and that you feel more confident about understanding and using them in your own conversations. Remember, the best way to learn these phrases is to practice them in real situations. So don't be afraid to try them out with your English-speaking friends or colleagues. Thanks so much for watching American Lingo Academy today. If this video helped you learn something new, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other English learners. And don't forget to subscribe because we post new lessons every single day to help you speak English more naturally and confidently. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.